today I am focusing on the some advanced concept. So in another way, that is having some grouping concept, shared repository, and for reading the data from the excels and all. So for that, I hope you have created a one project. Yesterday we were referring for that. It's my first project. Yesterday we have automated some of the flows. So please open that solution. So how to open the existing solution? So just click on this arrow mark and here the second option, open the existing solution. And when you open the existing solution, so select the solution. So just click on this my solution folder and don't select the any folder under this solution, this my project underscore sit. So the just open this and click open. So if you select the any folder inside the solution, so it will, what it will do, it will again open the business folder and subfolders. So again you will face the issues. So for opening the existing solutions in the Ginger, so what we need to do, we need to just click open this folder, then open. So it will load the entire solution in the Ginger. Can you please switch the project, your current project, to the yesterday's project where we did the exercise for one scenario? The use of shared repository. Yesterday what we did, so we were copying the some of the actions and reusing those actions in the another activity. So every time, so when our script grows, so we were having multiple of activity, we are having a multiple activities in the business flow. So we cannot go back and go with the individual activities and search these actions, which actions I need to copy and which are not. So then copy and again those paste into the our activity. That is very hectic things. So for that purpose, so there is a one repository, that is a shared repository, where we can keep our activities, actions, and activity groups. So activity groups, so I will explain that activity group later. This is the shared repository mainly is for keeping our activities and actions in the central repository, and we can reuse those actions in our flows, in our development. Okay, so how to add those activities and actions in the said repository is, so we have a three dot button here. So under three dot button, so there is a one add to said repository option. So when you click on this, this activity will store into the said repository area. Okay, so mainly we are using the launch the demo site and close the demo site. These two actions we are frequently using. For every activity we need these two actions. So what I will do, I will add these two in the said repository. Launch the demo site and close browser instance. So when you click on that add to said repository option, so you will be seeing this pop-up. Okay, so one pop-up, this is the pop-up. So where it will give you the detail, the selected actions detail. Okay, so you can add multiple actions, you can select the multiple actions in order to store into the said repository. So just click on the next and next, finish. again, what I will do, I will add the last and close browser instance. So add to said repository. Then next, and finish. When we click on the plus button, so once you click on the plus button, so there is a one set repository tab. So just click on the set repository tab. Under set repository window, we can see the three tabs. One is activity group, activities, and actions. So maybe you will be able to see the two actions which are added in this actions tab in
Yes.
activity and activity group. So you will be able to see the empty, but I'm having some activities also added in this area, but you might see the empty here. So let me try to add the one activity. So for adding the activity, so the same way how we added the actions, click on the three dot, and after clicking the three dot, we have a add to said repository. Please add this add customers activity into the said repository. Please click on the add to said repository. Then the pop-up will come, that window. So click on the next, then finish. Okay, adding to this activity into said repository, just click on the three dot and click on the add to said repository option. So if you are done with this part, so let's move to creating the activity group. Activity group mainly we use that is for categorizing the activities. So we may have some flows which are having some dependent test cases. For in one scenario, we will be having multiple test cases, more than 10 or 20. Like for create customers, I may have the 10 test cases, which I need to group in one category. So after creating the customer, so I may need to do some activity on that created customer, like payment option, for adding the some plans, or for some monthly plan, yeah, daily plan, that kind of activity I want to do on that particular customer. So on that time, I need to create another category where is the where all the activities involved in the payment related activity. So where I have some flows which are maintenance flows, so which to check the some validation, some sanity kind of things which I am doing. For that, I need to create a one category which is related to maintenance flows. So for that category, for categorizing all the activities, we need a activity groups. So how to create that activity groups? So when you click on this plus button while adding your activities, so you may notice that this is the activity group plus button here. So by default, the group is selected. But if you want to create a new group, you can click on this new activities group. So when I click a new activity group, it will ask you for providing the name, that group name. So what I will do, I will create a one group for create customer. Then next, this is the regular. This is the activity name. Give the activity, login. You can give the test case one. Test case one is for login. Then finish. Okay. What I did here is that, so I have created a one group, which is a create customer. Under that, I have added a one test case, which is for login. Okay. So under that, so I will reuse the two actions which I have added in the set repository. Okay. So how to reuse those actions? Click on the plus button, select the actions tab, and select the actions which you want to add. After selecting this action, click on this arrow, add to actions. Okay, so add the another actions, which is the closing the browser. Okay, save. Then the second thing, so after login, what I need to do. So this is for login, we need we may be having some username password, but here we don't have that the credential details. So that's just we are redirecting to the site, and we are clicking on the one project. So that is telecom project, and add customers. So that is the flow. So just for showing purpose, I am creating that login one activity here. So second thing, so I want to add the activity in this group. So we have reused the two actions, but now I want to reuse the activity. So this is the add customer activity. So for creating customer, first my test case is for login, second is for my creating the customer. So for that, how we can add the activities? Okay, so please select this and click on this plus button and select the shared repository option, and after that go to the activity tab. So under this activity, you will be able to see the one activity which you have added just before. Select that activity, click on this arrow button. So once you click the arrow button, the main important point here is that to select the activity group. So earlier, what it was happening, so the one group that is a default group, we were creating the activities, but now we have a two groups created here. One is a group, another one is a create customer. But I want to add this activity in the create customer group. Okay, so default one is the group. So if you select this one, so your activity will add into the first group. So but I want to reuse this activity in my second group. So for that, what I will do, I will select the create customer group, then click on the select button. So your activity is added over here. Okay, so instead of copying every time, so if the actions or activity which is the reusable, so for that you need to add the same in the shared repository, and you can reuse anytime in this particular solution. So this shared repository scope is for across the solution, not only particular business flow. So this thing is for shared repository and the activity group. The usage of these two is for the shared repository is mainly for reusing the activities and actions, and for these groups, activity groups are mainly for categorizing the things in systematic manner. Okay, so I have a two groups here, so you can minimize and maximize these things, collapse and expand. So you can create a multiple groups, and you can add. Okay, so let me try to run these activities, this group, and also validate the variable value, whether that variable is updated or not. The same value that should be updated in the variable. So you are fetching the same customer ID. Okay, the second thing is that, so what we are trying here is that, so again you need to click on this home button. So once you click on the home button, so you click on the pay bill. So when we click on the pay bill, So it will ask a customer ID. So you have stored the customer ID in one variable. That value we need to use here. Okay, so let's try this flow. So identify the locate element for this pay bill. This is the hyperlink we have for this pay bill. Just take this hyperlink and again here I will create a one more activity. So I will create a one more group. Sorry. So if you are identifying the objects, so try to identify for this and then try to create another group. So click on the plus button and click on the new activity group, and here payment flows. Okay, then create next, then activity, test case, three, pay bill. Okay, so just rename this also, add the test case 2. The last step of this second test case, which is for fetching the customer ID. So there we need to click on this home button. So we have a one more step. So here, so just rerun this activity, take the objects for that home button. Okay, this is the home button. I'm identifying the locate element for this. Copy this hyperlink. And try to add these best step in this pay bill. Or else you can add the same activity or in this activity itself. Add one more UI element action library. Go to platform action, UI element action, select the UI element action. Sorry, it is added on the first. So delete and select the last action, then try to add. So rename the action, click home button. Then operation type is href and paste the hyperlink. This is a href hyperlink, then click. Okay. And try to run this action. Okay, then you need to click on the pay bill. So in this third test case, so what in second test case, we have created the customer and we have stored the customer ID into the variable. Then we have clicked on that home button. So then we need to click on this pay bill. So add the another UI element, rename this, click on pay bill. Select the operation settings by href and value. So the value is billing.php. Okay. Select the element type. Element type will be the hyperlink. Then click. Okay. Then test. Run the action and test whether that is running or not. Okay. I'm able to click. Then identify the objects for this, for entering the customer ID. So I am trying to identify the object for this enter your customer ID. So there is a ID I have, customer ID. So I will add one more UI action, UI element action. So I will rename this action to enter cust ID. Operation type is by ID. I have selected. Then the value of that ID, and my operation is to text. To setting the text. Okay. Select the element type is text, and no, text box. Yeah. Select the element type is a text box. Then element action is set text. Okay. So once you select the text set text, the value we need to enter here. Okay. So I need to enter the value. For that, we have this three dot button. So you need to click on this three dot button. So once you click on this three dots, so you will see the value expression editor. This is the value expression editor where you can select the variables. Okay, so same like you have selected the environment variable, right? So the same way we have the one option here, that variables. So under variables, we have the global variables, business flow variables, and activity variables. Okay. So the one mistake we did here is that, so we stored the value in the activity variable because I am not able to see that variable over here in this activity. Okay, I am able to see the global variable and business flow variable, but I don't have any variable here. Okay, so I don't see that customer ID variable in this activity because the scope of that activity variable is for
that activity only.
that activity only. So that's the reason I am not able to see the variable over here. Only I am able to see the global variable and business flow variable. So in that case, what we need to do, so we need to create the variable as a business flow level, not a activity level.
Okay.
Okay. So for this also, you can directly reuse this variable by copying. Just copy this variable, copy from the clipboard, and here you can see the activity drop down. Okay, select the variables. Instead of activity, you select the variables. Once you select the variables, you will be able to see these all the business flow variables. Okay. The second step is select the activities from this drop down. You have done with the variable part and select the activities. Then go to the actions under the here. So we are fetching the customer ID, right? So we are storing this value in the activity variable. We need to change this to business flow variable,
BF. Mhm.
bf underscore customer ID.
Okay.
Okay. Then this business flow variable we can use in the pay bill test case. So here, so click on the values, three dots, then variable, go to the business flow variable. Under this business flow, we have the customer ID. Okay, just double click on that customer ID, bf
Okay.
underscore customer ID from variable. So this is the variable. So you can play, you can see the values. So if you have created a new variable, you won't be able to see the values because that is the empty. So when you run this test case 2 again, the value will get stored into that variable. Okay.
Mhm.
Just select the business flow customer ID variable here. Then okay. This value is we have defined the variable here. I will repeat the same steps again. So you just create a one variable in business flow, select the variables from this drop down. Here you can create a one variable, name it as a bf underscore customer ID. Then go back to the activities again and go to the test case 2 and change the variable from activity variable to business flow variable. So in the 11th action, in the test case 2, 11th action, just change the variable from here. Instead of act underscore customer ID, you need to select the bf underscore customer ID, then save. Then come to test case 3. Under test case 3, for second action, open the second action and select the variable here. So how to select the variable? Click on the three dot button, then go to the variable part and expand the business flow variables. And there is a business flow underscore customer ID. Double click on this. So your business flow is added. Then click OK. Your business flow this variable is defined here. Identify the object for the submit button. So for this we have name, value, type. I will take the value. Then I will try to add the one more UI element. One more UI element action. Just double click. Go to the UI element action. Rename this. Click on submit button.
But
Go to the operation settings. Here I have selected the locator type is by value. So putting the value here. My operation type is that element type is button. Then
Button.
element action is click. Let's run this much now. For first two, just disable these two actions. For first group, keep the actives only from this customer, create customer and pay bills. These three activities should be active. Previous two activities which we have created yesterday, just
Mhm.
disable those two activities.
Okay.
Then try to run the run flow now. Once this bill comes, so we need to verify, right? So whether this is doing correctly or not, we need to put this some validation on this page. So for that, you can identify whether this customer ID is displayed or not, or else you can individually check this the if you have a usage details, charges details, so you can identify the objects for this particular column and this particular field, and then you
Mhm.
can fetch the values and put the expected values, then verify actual and expected. Okay, so for verification purpose, so we need, I am identifying the header. So I will provide
Okay.
you the XPath. So I have already created this XPath. To use this XPath for identifying this header, I will add one more UI element action. Okay, to validation. Here I am using the XPath, putting the value XPath here. So this is the text. So I am getting the value. Operation details, locate by XPath and put the XPath which I picked in the chat room, and select the element type and element action. Okay, then save. Once you save this action, try to run the action. Okay, this is passing. So go to the auto output values tab. Let me know if you are able to fetch the header of that summary page. Okay, so once you get the output value, just click on this arrow mark. This is greater than symbol we have to. So click on this, copy the actual value to expected value. So when you click on this, but this arrow, so all the what is the actual value we are getting here, the same value will get copied to the expected value. So once you copy the expected value, click on this three dots. So when you click on this three dots, the expression editor will open. Under that expression editor, you will be able to see the values for that particular header. So you are comparing this with the actual value. This customer ID is the dynamic one. This is not the static one. So every time this value will getting changed. So for this value, so whatever the value we are storing in the business flow customer ID variable, so we just need to declare that variable here also. So for every time, so the dynamic customer ID is getting generated. So that ID will we are using for pay the bills, and that ID we are verifying here. The sum of the static value we have customer ID and customer name, and the name also we are keeping the same. We are not changing the customer name. So only the dynamic value here is that the customer ID. So for that customer ID, we have already variable. So just delete this value and select the variable. Go to the variables, go to the business flow variables, and select the BF customer ID. So once you select the variables here, just click on the play button, whether that variable is properly selected or not, properly declared or not. Click on OK, then click on save. So once you are complete this step, again try to run the run flow, end-to-end flow. So what we are, this is our one scenario, which is called login the site and create the customer and fetch the customer and store into the business flow variable and use that where customer ID to pay the bills. Once the payment is done, so validate the summary page on that particular customer ID. Okay, try to run the run flow. Are you guys able to see this window, business flow execution summary window? Okay, so after that, we have one option here, generate report. So click on this generate report. So once you click on this generate report, this folder will get opened. That report will generate under our solution, my project SIT. Under solutions, we have a folder HTML reports. Under HTML reports and Ginger web client. This is our HTML report, which is generated for that particular business flow. Okay. Okay, so we have a separate session for this reporting part. So how to customize the report and all. So for this is the default report which Ginger will generate. So for each business flow, we can generate the report, or else for end-to-end test for the run set, we have a run set concept. So where we can generate the whole our automation suite reports. So we can add a n number of business flow in that run set, so we can run and we can see the report. That is a very HTML report. So this is, I have generated this for particular one business flow. So for that you need to just click on this generate report. Once you run the run flow, and you will be able to see this execution summary, and through this execution summary you can generate the report. Okay, the second step is that, so the most of the field values we are hard coded here. So these hard coded values we are parameterizing, so we are reading the values from the Excel. Okay, so for that concept I am going to explain you the reading the values from Excel. Okay, so try to create a one Excel sheet in your solution. Go to your solution, open the solution, open the solution folder from here. If you know the path, you can directly open and go to the document folder. Under document, create a one Excel sheet. Go to the folder solution. Under solution, you have a documents folder. Under document folder, create a one Excel sheet. Okay, open the Excel sheet and rename the sheet name. and add the values. First one is ID and first name, last name, address, and phone number.
Mhm.
Okay. ID should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. Okay. The name you can keep any your name, ABC, XYZ. Address I am putting India. The phone number 999. Okay, prepare the Excel sheet. So please put the values, rename the sheet 1 customer details. Under customer details, fill the ID and first name, last name, address, and phone number. Let me know once you are complete this. Let me repeat the same steps again. So open the solution, go to the zero mark and open solution folder, and it will open your solution folder. Under the solutions, we have documents folder. Click on the documents. So under document, create a one Excel sheet. So you can name it as a customer details. The next step is to create the variable. So create the business flow variable because we are reusing those variables across the business flow. So try to create the variables under business flow itself, not a activity variables. For now, so create the variable string variable. Let me delete this for now. Bf underscore first name. Create the variable for first name, last name, phone number, and address. Please create 4 variables. One is for first name, last name, address, and phone number. Then come back to the activities. And this one is save. Is it done for all? Okay. So once you are completed for adding the variables, and try to add the one activity, new activity. So in the create customer. Okay. So put the activity name as read Excel data. Then finish. Keep this to before the add customers. Okay. Create a one activity, new activity under create customer, and name it as a read Excel data. And once you created this activity, uh, click on the plus button, and under general actions, there is a one Excel action, 10th position. It's a Excel action. So add to the Excel action. Okay. It is added. Open the Excel action and see the operation settings. This is the important step. So please complete till this phase. I will explain these fields. We are reading the data now. So for reading the data, so just select the read data from the drop down. So here we can read the data from the cell data, and also you also need read the data from the row wise. Please select the second one, read data. This is the default one. So while writing the data, we need to select the right data. So we can see that later. So first select the read data. So after that, we need to select the file path. So you just created the Excel in the document folder, select that folder. So by clicking the browse option here, so click the browse and select the Excel which you have created right now. This Excel is added. Select the path for that Excel. You can also select the Excel sheet from outside the solution. It is not the mandatory. You need to keep the Excel sheet in the solution itself. So that is the best approach we can keep under the solutions. Okay, so just select the Excel sheet, and once you select the Excel sheet, so you will be able to see the sheet names. Whatever the sheet names we have created under this Excel, we can see all the sheet names under this drop down. So select the sheet which you have created, where you have added the details. Okay. So after that,
Yes.
so you just need to click on the view all data. The second step, what we need to do, so we need to select the row for which row data we are picking now. So for that, we need to place here ID equal to 1. Okay. Our primary key here in this Excel is ID. So you need to pass the primary key value here. So once you pass this value, then click on the view filter data. So now you are able to see the two rows. When you click on this filter, view filter data, so you can keep one or two, so whatever value you want to keep. So then run the action. So here is the run action. Run action. So if it is passed, then you will be able to see the values in output values in output tab. Go to the output tab. So here you are able to see the all the values, actual values from the Excel. The next step is that to store these values into the variable. The same way how
Mhm.
we stored the customer value. So we need to store these actual values into the variable. So select the variable. So we have already created the business flow variable. Select the variables for uh, respective parameters. Business flow first name, then last name, then address, then phone number.
Um,
Okay, it is done. So once you select the
yes.
variable, just try to rerun the action. So you have selected, but you haven't stored the values into the variable. So when you run this action, the values will get stored into the variables. Okay, then
Okay.
save and save. So the second step, this is for reading the data and storing into the variable is part done. And next step is to declare these variable into our add customer activity. Go to the activity 2 and just remove the hard coded value and select the variables, business flow variables. This is for my first name. So see whether the values is displaying or not. Okay. One more step is missed, email ID. We haven't created email ID variable and value in the Excel. Let's try to add the variable for email ID and also add in the Excel the email ID detail. I'm trying to add this email ID in the Excel also. Once you add the email id detail in the excel and variable, so just try to run this. You will be able to see the pi values now. So earlier we were seeing the 5 values. Now we are able to see 6 values here. One more row is added for email id.
Okay.
Okay, so just select the variable, then rerun the action. Okay, once you are done with this step, just declare that variable in add customer activity. Email id. Okay, this is completed. The second thing is that, so we have fetched the customer ID. So we need to store that ID into the Excel. Okay. So whenever we are generating the customer ID, so after filling the form, so that customer ID we need for future reference, right? So here what we are doing, so we are reusing that into the pay bills. But sometimes what is happening, the same customer ID we are using in the another solution or another business flow. On that time we cannot use the variables there. So we need to use this, we need to store this value in the Excel sheet. Again, we can read the same customer ID from the Excel. So here we are going to perform the write operations. So how to write the value in the Excel sheet? So after performing this activity, so add the one more activity here for writing the values. Okay, you can also use the Excel sheet under this activity only, or else you can create the separate activity for Excel sheet. So for read Excel data, I have already created the new activity. Now what I will do, I will create the direct Excel action in the add customer itself. Okay, so click on the plus button. First select the action where you want to add. So I want to add after clicking on this home button. So select the action and click on the plus button. Go to the general actions and select the Excel action. Okay. So once you select this Excel action, just open, click on the operation settings. Okay. So before that, we need to create a one step in the Excel for storing the customer ID. Uh, you can either store in the same sheet customer ID here, or else you can utilize the another sheet. Cust ID, ID is the primary key. customer ID 1, 2, 3. Please create this sheet 2 customer ID for storing the customer ID. Okay, once you complete this step, close this Excel, go back to the Ginger, open the Excel action, go to the operation settings and select the drop down. Here is the write data. Okay, so once you select the write data, select the Excel sheet, browse the folder and select the Excel sheet. Once you select the Excel sheet, you will be able to see the all the sheets here. Okay, so I will select now customer ID, cust ID sheet. Okay, we don't have any record here, so you can view all data. So the customer ID is now empty. Okay,
Okay.
so where I want to write the customer ID, we need to define that ID equal to 1. My primary key is the ID and the data to write, where I want to write the data under customer ID column. Customer ID equal to my customer ID. So I need to declare the customer ID variable here. So how to declare that? Click on this 3 dot button. So once you click on this button, so in single quote, provide the customer ID detail. So just declare the variable. Okay. Then click play. And this is my customer ID. And click OK. Then try to run. This is success for me. And view the data. Please complete this step. Okay, for writing, so let's see the operation types what you are putting. Let me go through this again. So select the drop down action, that is a write data, and select the path for the Excel path. And after that, select the sheet where you want to store the customer ID detail. So select the sheet, then click on the row button, select the row ID where you want to store ID equal to 1, then provide the primary key. So once you provide the primary key, just provide the data to write where you want to write the data. Customer ID equal to this, the just put the variable detail here, the business flow variable detail, then play. So if you are able to see the values here, then click OK. So put the variable under single quote, then try to run, then click on the view button, view all data. So you will be able to see. We can meet
Okay.
again. Thank you.